that I want to show off. And here I adjusted my camera and took off the mantle with the toys on it. So yeah, I've got some Lego stuff to show, some GI Joe, and some random other stuff, and then we're gonna end with a Star Wars Vintage Collection haul, and then I'm probably gonna take a short break and actually open the vintage stuff. So yet again, TMNT's been put off, but I think that opening that vintage stuff is going to be an awful lot of fun because it's got some real gems in it. All right, so let's start with Lego, shall we? So this is all recent releases. I'm a big Lego collector and have been for a long time, and the primary source of my Lego buying these days is Bricks Direct, which is a company in the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken, that even with shipping from Europe, still tends to be cheaper than buying them here. Prior to this order, I've been able to get 20 to 25% off on just about everything, and this is the first time I've had to accept 15% as a discount off the USA MSRP, but I suspect that's a currency conversion issue because their pricing hasn't changed. I think that either they've raised how much they're charging for shipping, because oddly they shipped this shipment in like 8 boxes when it easily could have been 3 or 4. But I do think that it's probably a dollar versus euro problem. Anyway, so let's start here with some superhero stuff. We've got 2 new Batman sets that are both based off of the '89 Batman movie, the Batmobile and the Batwing. They've got some pretty great Joker figures, and they're very traditional in design. This is very similar to the Batmobile that's in the big Lightbox Batman set, which, now that I think about it, I don't remember whether I have yet or not. But yeah, I really like these 2 sets. Good Batman stuff. And then here's a great Marvel set. This is from the final battle in Spider-Man No Way Home, or No Way Home. I was about to say Far From Home, but no, it's No Way Home. And it's got all the bad guys plus Doctor Strange and Ned and MJ. And I think that's... and all 3 Spider-Men that look very distinctly like the 3 movie character costumes. I think it's interesting that they chose to make the Statue of Liberty's head brown instead of green. I don't recall what color it was in the movie, but this is just it's super sweet. I really like that one. All right, here's actually a not new set. I had to get it. I love The Office. This was an Ideas set that came out a couple years ago that I've just been waiting on, and I finally bought it. It has like every single character from the show. You can see them. It's not the whole Office, but it's the part that matters. And yeah, I think that's great. Okay, so city stuff. I don't tend to be a city Lego buyer unless it's got cool animals in it. And this Arctic theme, which they're doing again, this is sort of the second visit to the Arctic theme, is pretty great. This has got 2 seals in it. I probably need more than one of these. This has a pretty cool hammerhead shark and a stingray, and I love the orange and blue color scheme. This has a great white shark. It's pretty great. Those are great. And then the biggest Arctic set is this one. It's got a new hull piece that they haven't used before. It's got the pointed front. It's got the opening bay doors to lower the submarine into the water, and then the orca, which is a new animal for Lego. I don't know. I love that color scheme. I love the theme. It's fun. Then Harry Potter. I have the big Hogwarts, the like micro scale one, and it's awesome. This is a much smaller scale, but I think it's more of the castle. It's definitely more of the castle, and also has the water and the boats and everything. I think it's just a lovely little representation of the castle. It uses stickers, where I think the other one didn't at all. But yeah, I think it's really nice. It's gonna be fun to build. And then this is just a little one. I like the ones they make where it's a case that closes up. I think they're just kind of neat discussion pieces, and it's fun to have all the Quidditch uniforms on the figures. And then finally, Star Wars, because Star Wars. This is a set that they've never made before. They've never made a Yavin for, and they finally did. And I think it's pretty good. It's a little bit on the small side of what I would have wanted. And like Lego is pretty much universally these days, a little bit on the expensive side. But the Y-Wing is a really nice small-scale Y-Wing build. And it's got a bunch of cool figures, including General Dodonna, which we've never had before. And yeah, I mean, it's clearly the Yavin base, and the interiors are pretty sparse, but they hit the high points of the briefing room, which is here, and the room with the table showing the Death Star approaching. And you can see it's a little turnable piece, and the little cart that delivers them to the fighters right before they go to the Death Star. It definitely hits the high points of the Yavin base. And then, okay, then we got some Ahsoka stuff. All right, these are two sets from the new Ahsoka show. I just watched episode 4 last night, and it was great. The first couple episodes were a little bit on the setup side without a lot of character stuff, but I thought episode 4 went some interesting places, had some great action in it, and the ending was excellent. So I'm very much looking forward to the next episode. But these are both... This is an interesting set because it's pretty expensive and big for two ships that haven't made really significant appearances in the show yet. I mean, this ship was in episode 3 in a big space battle, but not in a way that I think really justifies a set of that size. But this obviously could have easily been bigger, because this is a pretty important ship that we're going to probably see a lot all the way through the show. But anyway, I think there's also a third Ahsoka set, which is the Ghost and Phantom, but I don't have that one yet. And then finally, from Mandalorian, we've got a set with the Mandalorian fighter. This is not Bo-Katan's. This is a separate one, and a TIE Interceptor. This is the first TIE Interceptor they've done in years. Yeah, some pretty good figures. You got Mando and a Mandalorian commander, and Imperial R2 unit. I guess technically you have to do R2. So yeah, that's the end of my Lego stuff. That's some pretty good stuff. All right, so Transformers. Only a few this time. This is an old set. The box doesn't tell you much about it. This is the first Shattered Glass set they did. And again, I mentioned last time that Shattered Glass is sort of the Transformers mirror universe, where the good guys are bad guys and vice versa. You'll notice that the Autobot symbols on these guys are purple, and any Decepticon has a red Decepticon symbol, so they switched the colors but preserved the symbols. This set, this 2-pack has been going for way more than it should, but I managed to get a good deal on this one, which I was pleased about. So yeah, Ratchet and Optimus Prime. And notice Optimus Prime's got that cracked windshield there. Yeah, these are nice. Those are sculpts from a couple releases ago, but still nice sculpt. And then here's two of the Amazon exclusives. I had last time the 2-pack from the new IDW comic, but these are from other like extended universe stuff. This is Nacelle. They've now, I think, released a good number of repaints of this Cybertronian Seeker mold. This is a particularly colorful guy with the red legs and blue. This is an interesting situation because it was reported on the internet that people were finding that their copies of this in the box had white mold growing on the toy. So I opened mine already just to do a quick inspection, and it's fine. And then this is Nova Prime, one of the first primes, and it's a remold of the Ultra Magnus mold. But really nice and very different with the wings and everything. So it's a fairly heavy retool of it as well. I think that's pretty sweet. All right, so have I shown Micro Galaxy Squadron at all yet? I can't recall. But anyway, I picked up 2 Micro Galaxy Squadron things. The Imperial Shuttle I've had on pre-order with Amazon for ages, and they still have it listed as pre-order, and I walked into Walmart and there it was on the shelf, so I bought it. And this guy was quite an adventure to get. The Pod Racers, they call him the Boonta Eve Battle Pack. I ordered it from Walmart because it's a Walmart exclusive, and ordered it for curbside pickup because it said it was in stock at the Hillsboro Walmart. I went there and they handed me the Imperial Troop Transport, which was from Wave 1, which I've had for years. And I was like, okay, fine. So I ordered it for shipping instead, because I'm like, clearly they don't know what they're talking about at the store. And even though I ordered it for shipping, what they ended up doing was just delivering it from the store, and they delivered the same thing again. So then I just went into the store the same day I bought this, and here was the correct set just sitting on the shelf. So I finally got a copy of this. It's got, again, these nice little 1-inch figures of Kid Anakin and Sebulba. That's pretty nice. And this one's got the Emperor and 2 Imperial Guards. This obviously has some assembly required. The wings and tail fin or dorsal fin are both separate in the box. But there you go. Oh, I missed a Transformer. Yeah, just got this today in the mail. This is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive battle pack of Menasor. All of these have been released over the course of the last year or two in the Legacy line. But this is repaints of all of them. They're not hugely different, but they're different. Mostly in like the chests paint and like some of the leg paints. I think these are painted to resemble the toys, where the retail releases, individual releases, were painted to look like the cartoon characters. So yeah, these look nice. I think it's interesting that they, in the original toy, and this is emulating the original toy. The original toy had a car, a non-transforming car, I want to say, that was his chest plate. I think it's interesting that they didn't try to make a little car to add to it. It would have been a neat addition that would have made this even more worth getting. As it is, they're only so subtly different. I hemmed and hawed about whether to get it or not, but I love Menasor, so I went with it. All right, one TMNT thing, which will be opened at some point. Triceratron Zog. He's way beefier than I thought he was. He was expensive, and I was like, I feel like this guy just came out. Why has the price gone up? As it happened, I don't think it had. I think that what I paid for him was the going retail price, because he's a big, chunky guy. He's way bigger than the turtles. And then another, in this case, Target screw up. I pre-ordered this. This Indiana Jones line has been hit and miss, mostly, and we'll talk about it eventually when I open them up. The ones that I haven't opened yet, we can set up all the ones I have and talk about them. I feel like the line, the biggest drawback from the line is that they have made 3 or 4 indie figures that are basically identical, because he basically wears the same clothes for the most part all the way through the 3 core classic movies. And even in the 2 more recent ones, the indie figures are like, okay, so now his hair is gray. But this I ordered, this is a Target exclusive, and I ordered this ages ago, like when it went up for pre-order, I ordered it, and they back-ordered me and back-ordered me and back-ordered me, which is a thing that Target does, and it's hyper frustrating. So I went on eBay and found a guy, I think overseas, selling this for under retail. And yeah, it's got stickers on it, but I'm going to open it, so I don't care. I did pay more than $12.49 for it. I don't really understand how somebody overseas has clearly a U.S. sticker. Because it says was $24.99, now $12.49. Regardless, I got a good deal on it compared to what I would have paid if Target had eventually shipped it to me. And I feel like this is in contrast with what I was saying about all the Indiana Jones figures wearing the same thing. This is from the beginning of Temple of Doom, and here he's obviously wearing a much different outfit, and that's a fun figure. And then we've got some Star Wars Black Series. 2 characters from the Obi-Wan Disney Plus show. Tala and another costume of Obi-Wan. They're saying Jabim. I don't know how much different this is from the Wandering Jedi one. I'll have to put them next to each other. Oops, sorry, Tala. But Atomic Empire got these, and I think they're still in stock. So if you have failed to pick them up, you can get them from Atomic Empire today. Yeah, but these were fairly recent releases. Oh, and then you have a big one that I was super excited about. Darth Malgus from Knights of the Old Republic, or from the Old Republic. Yeah, it's a super cool figure. It's interesting that the box is bigger. I don't think he has extra accessories, so I don't really know why they needed to make the box larger. But it's a nice looking figure. And then we've got several of the Bad Batch. Okay, I'm gonna have to lower this camera again to get them in screen. Oh, and plus 2 up here. So one of these, so actually 2 of these are missing. We don't yet have Omega because she hasn't been released yet. Because unlike the rest of these, which were all Walmart exclusive, Omega is a general release. And that wave just hasn't come out yet. And for some reason, Walmart has shipped all of these separately over the course of a few days, and then had a long gap before Wrecker came out just this week, and Hunter's not out yet. I don't think anybody's gotten Hunter yet, so Hunter's coming. But we've got Tech and Echo and Wrecker, and then our Trooper 5s, who's technically from the Clone Wars, but was part of the same release. And then a Clone Commando, which is the same sculpt as in the GameStop exclusive Clone Commando pack of the characters from the now Legends Republic Commandos series. But it's the same sculpt, I think. Yeah, these are great. I have the first run of the Bad Batch figures. These are the Season 2 costumes, and they did, a while back, the Season 1 costumes. I had to pay through the nose for Hunter and Wrecker, who were the first 2 releases. Oh, and I think Crosshairs. I think I paid more than retail for the non-Imperial Crosshair too. But yeah, I really like these Season 2 costumes with the oops, sorry, I keep doing that. More color on their costumes, not just black and gray. But yeah, these are nice. And then I have one more non-G.I. Joe figure to show off, which just came out. Drizzt Do'Urden. We talked a little bit about the D&D figures last time and how the Golden Archive movie figures I'm less interested in. You can see I've still got Displacer Beast up on my mantle. But they did, gosh, I don't know how many years ago, they did a 2-pack of Drizzt with his Panther, whose name I forget. But this is a new release with a different costume. The other one was mostly black. This one's brown and green, which I think is a nice contrast. I suspect, again, having not put them right next to each other, I suspect it's exactly the same sculpt, just repainted. But I can live with that. I do like the furry cloak. All right, so that's everything but G.I. Joe. So I know that I've gotten more G.I. Joe since my last video than I have here to show you, but I'm gonna show you what I got. This was a big question mark for me. I didn't know for sure that I wanted this. First, it's giant. Second, it turns into kind of a silly playset. Is there a better picture? Yeah. So it's deployed mode of like this big huge platform up top with an elevator and a jail cell and like sort of arms out on the sides, which have, this has just like cardboard, like actual cardboard, like practice field, but the pieces are literally cardboard, which I feel like is pretty cheap. But ultimately, it was a pretty good deal, and I think I said last time that I feel like my balance between Cobra and G.I. Joe vehicles is a little bit overleaned towards Cobra, so I felt like having a nice big beefy Joe vehicle that does look super cool when it's folded up. I mean, it was pretty cool. I thought it would be nice to have another good G.I. Joe vehicle. Again, this is from the first movie, which I did rewatch and is, oh god, it's bad. It's so bad. And the General Hawk figure is not based on the comic or classic figure look. It's based on the movie look, and is I could care less. Couldn't care less, I should say. Yeah, but anyway. Then we've got a couple more vehicles, little ones. Got the Desert Rockside. The initial release of this was like a snowmobile. But this is like a desert version of it that comes with a Dusty figure. You can hear it's like there it is. Like I mentioned last time, yet again with these big window box packaging, the missiles are not held in well and go flying around. So flying around missile there. Okay, this is I meant to go get the other one so you could compare and contrast these. This is the Con edition of the Danger at the Docks set, which is a recolor of the retail release, and came first, I believe. So in the original retail release, or the subsequent retail release, the Cobra Raft was blue, the Vamp was camo gray, Flint was, I think, a blue shirt and later green pants, and the Eel was more traditional Eel colors, gray instead of black. But I really wanted a modern release of the brown Vamp, and again, I don't want to say a good price because I paid too much for it, but I got a better price on this than I thought I would be able to get. I negotiated it down, and yeah, it'll be fun to open these together because I have both of them now, and compare the colors of the vehicles and stuff. And then one last larger vehicle. This is the Cobra Python Patrol Conquest, the first modern release of the Conquest, just like the original 80s toys, was a gray Joe jet. But this is a Cobra alternate jet, which has the exclusive Python Patrol Viper. We should get a closer look on that. That's a good looking figure. I wish the mask was a little shinier. I wish they had done a metallic red on that instead of just flat red, but still, it's a nice figure. And the patterning on the jet is pretty sweet. I like the snakeskin patterns. Nice. And this is on the way. The opposite, which is a Cobra jet recolored for Tiger Force with a Wild Bill figure. I've got that in the mail. All right, so then I got some figures. Start with the box set. I showed off last time the Ninja Dojo set. This is the Cobra Invasion team. The biggest upside of this one for me is that super cool Cobra symbol parachute. I really like that. I don't love Snake Eyes versions that have the metal faceplate. I say that, and yet I've got the Hiya Toys one, which is in this scale and a recent release, and that one's really sweet. I should show you guys the Hiya Toys G.I. Joe figures. I don't think they were released in the States. I ordered them internationally. But yeah, so this is nice 3-pack. So they did, over the course of 2 years, I think it's 2011 and 2012, they did 2 3-packs each year. And I've now got 2 of the 4, and I'm working on getting the other 2 because they're all 4 of them really nice packs. And this one doesn't show you much. This was an Amazon exclusive based off of the Renegades cartoon, which was a single episode movie. But inside, you can get a better sense of what's in it. You can see it's the figures are kind of more a cartoony style. I'm not going to open it now, but these are the characters in there, and they look pretty similar to this design. They're in that style, and I will be interested to see how they look up against the more realistic looking earlier releases, like the things that don't go with the Renegades cartoon, because I think really it's just the Renegades figures that have this animated style to them. But I like the style a lot, so I wanted to pick some of these up. In fact, I think I have. Let's see. Do I have a couple more Renegades figures here? I do. So I've got Scarlet. Okay, let's tip this camera way down. Scarlet. Oh, she's not going to stand up, is she? I'll hold it. Okay, Scarlet and Snake Eyes, also from Renegades. The Scarlet figure. Take a close look at her. I do. Come on, focus. I do worry that her face is a little cartoony. I'm having trouble getting a good focus on that, but there we go. There we go. It's not that cartoony, but I think compared to the other ones, it will look cartoony. This Snake Eyes is really nice. I like the gray along with the black. Pretty cool. Yep. All right, so then I've got some of the first wave of modern. You know, I realized that I've been saying these are 3.75 inch, but actually between the original G.I. Joe release, which was 3.75 inch, and the 25th anniversary and since figures, these are technically 4 inch. This plastic is really yellowed, but this is the first Snake Eyes release, which is a really nice looking, basic, like, original version of Snake Eyes. This is a Tiger Force Duke. They didn't do many Tiger Force figures that weren't, like, con exclusive. But he's got the tiger camo pants, which I think look good. I realize I'm getting reflection off the television, which is sitting on a screensaver. All right, then I've got the Cobra Bazooka Trooper. I don't think I showed this last time. Maybe I did with the netted hat. I might have shown that last time. And then speaking of Scarlet, actually, let's compare them. Here's the first Scarlet release. Yeah, let's put them next to each other. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe the Renegades one's going to end up being a little taller. Definitely different style-wise. Yeah. I'll be interested to see how they look out of package setup. I kind of feel like, just looking at these two, they might be slightly different scale. Well, we can do that with Snake Eyes, too. Even though the plastic is so yellow, it's hard to tell. Try to put their heads at about the same height. Ah, no, those look about the same height, don't they? Yeah, those look good. Alright, then I've got two Cobra guys. Oh no, another Snake Eyes. Here's the Arctic Snake Eyes. This was as figures from this era go, this one's not very expensive. It was probably not much more than it originally was. Plus shipping. Yeah. I like having Snake Eyes in different costumes, and Snake Eyes is awesome. So, and then it's interesting. I got the Hiss. This is a Hiss driver. I got the Hiss that was the Walmart exclusive release in the quote unquote retro line a couple years ago, and it had a Hiss driver in it. But this one actually looks way better. It's got the silver piping around the blue chest plate. And I think they're actually rather different sculpts. So, again, nice to get these together. I think it's interesting that the 25th anniversary Hisses didn't come with that version of the Hiss driver. And then, speaking of Snake Eyes, here's one more. Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow comic book 2-pack. This has got Snake Eyes all beat up. And Storm Shadow with that red cloak, which is a little silly, but that's okay. And a big bow with bright yellow arrows. And then I've got a few figures from the Rise of Cobra and Retaliation lines. This is an interesting one. They're calling this Deep Six. Now, if you know your G.I. Joe, Deep Six is the big bulky dive suit guy that came with the shark in the original release, that had the little tube that goes into his back that makes him sink and float with a little air compressor that you push water into and out of his body with. So this is much more a torpedo-looking Deep Six. So I think it's interesting that they did that. Then we've got a new Gung Ho in a this is from the first movie, very first movie style costume, but it still looks like Gung Ho to me. And I really Copperhead's such a cool character, and they've done 3 or 4 different versions of him in the modern era, and I like this color. The red and orange, or burgundy and orange pants look good with the pale green, olive green. The yellow gun holster's a little much, but that's fine. Oh, and then one more Snake Eyes, because you can't have too many Snake Eyes. Here's the Arctic one. This is, I think, actually in the movie, and it's so silly, but Snake Eyes is silly, I guess. At least he doesn't have lips like he does in the movie. That's so weird. Why did they do that? The decisions they make in this stuff, I just don't understand sometimes. Yeah, but the white outfit looks good with his black costume. And then here's 2 Retaliation figures. I don't think we talked about this last time. So this is Quinn, who's a character that was a pretty important character in the comic books, the Marvel comic books. I don't think he ever appeared in the cartoon. I think he was one of Snake Eyes' friends from Vietnam, because in the original 80s Marvel comics, they were all Vietnam vets. Yeah, I think this is a nice looking figure with the skulls. I don't know, are those the same skulls that are on that Snake Eyes figure? Those Snake Eyes skulls almost look like aliens. I don't think they are the same. Anyway, Quinn, and then lastly, and this is in theme with one of the figures we looked at earlier. This is like the least Cobra Trooper looking Cobra Trooper figure they ever made. But again, I think it's from Retaliation, and while I did rewatch Rise of Cobra, I haven't rewatched Retaliation yet. But he's got the parachute again. So I've got 2 of that figure. They only did 1 G.I. Joe parachute, and it was with a Flint figure that, again, doesn't super look like Flint, but I wanted the G.I. Joe parachute, so that one's coming for me too. But yeah, the red goggles, I mean, it's a nice design, it just doesn't look like a Cobra Trooper, right? Okay, alright, so that's all the show and tell I have. I'm gonna pause for a little bit, move some stuff around, and then we're going to show off some Star Wars vintage stuff and do some unboxing. I'll be back in 20 or 30 minutes.